She hadn't even finished saying hello, and the woman cut her off. Yes. How can I help you? Sonia Ade smiled. Hi, I'm your... Wait. The woman in the doorway looked her up and down with the particular efficiency of someone who had already made up their mind. Are you not the cleaner? The one who was supposed to come hours ago? I had to take the trash out myself because of you. Do you know how unacceptable that is? Sonia blinked. I think you have the wrong I'm your any. I'm not done. The woman stepped forward. Who raised you? You come here, do half a job, and disappear. This is a premium building. We have standards here. Sonia looked at her. 1 full second. The kind of second that does a lot of work. You know what's interesting, she said quietly. People who actually belong in places like this never need to announce it. The woman's expression shifted slightly. Sonia tilted her head just enough. So before you continue, decide whether you want to sound important or look insecure. You won't manage both. The woman laughed. Short and dismissive. I'm practically the lady of this house. And you're clearly the help. So get that into your head and... What's going on? A voice from inside the apartment. Then a man appeared in the doorway, tall, sharp undercut, the kind of stillness that came from someone who had learned a long time ago that volume was never necessary. The woman turned immediately. Repositioned. Don't worry about it. It's just the cleaner. I've handled it. Tae-sang looked at the woman in the doorway, then at the woman standing in the hall, then back. What cleaner? He said quietly. Stay with me for this one. Because the woman who just called Sonia Ade a cleaner is about to discover she insulted the wrong person entirely. And if you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from. Sonia looked at Tae-sang and said, I came to tell you something. But this isn't the right time. Sonia Ade had been curating other people's visions for 6 years and had never once wished she was doing something else. The gallery Sonia managed was not large. It didn't need to be. Serious collectors came there quietly. So did people pretending to understand art because they wanted to impress someone standing beside them. Sonia could tell the difference in under 30 seconds and had stopped pretending she couldn't. She knew every piece on the walls, every artist behind it, every visitor who walked through with genuine interest versus the ones performing culture for someone they were trying to impress. She could tell the difference in 30 seconds, and she had stopped pretending she couldn't. Her apartment directly across from Tae-sang's reflected the same sensibility, warm, deliberate, art on every available wall that she had chosen herself over years, evidence of a woman who had a specific relationship with beauty and had built her entire life to accommodate it. She was not lonely. She was not waiting. She was, by any honest measure, exactly where she wanted to be. Bola disagreed. It has been 8 months, Bola said, sitting across from her at the gallery's back office desk where she had arrived uninvited with lunch and opinions. 8 months since you went on an actual date with an actual human being. I went to dinner with Adam in February, Sonia said without looking up from the catalog she was reviewing. Adam is your accountant, and it was a business dinner and you paid separately. Bola set down her fork. Sonia. I'm focused. On what? The paintings? They're not going anywhere. On my career. On building something. She turned a page. Everything is not about having someone, Bola. Nobody said everything. Bola looked at her with the particular expression of someone who has had this conversation before and intends to keep having it. I said go outside. Be a human being for 1 evening. Explore. Sonia almost smiled. I explore every day. I just do it with art. Bola picked up her fork again. You are impossible. Sonia said, I'm focused. Bola said same thing. Tae-sang did not stay in one place long enough to be known by anyone who didn't need to know him, which was exactly how he preferred it. He owned the building, not as a listed investment, as a practical arrangement. A space in the city that was his without being publicly his, used when business brought him to this part of Seoul, and he needed somewhere that was neither a hotel nor his main residence. He came when he needed to. He stayed a few days. He left. The neighbors, to the extent that they noticed him at all, knew him as a man who came and went and didn't speak to anyone. He had no complaints about this arrangement. Lim Group, on paper, was one of Korea's more respected mid-tier conglomerates. real estate development, investment management, urban infrastructure projects. Clean, well-documented, above reproach in every audit. What moved underneath the paper had been moving since his father built it 30 years ago, and it continued to move because Tae-sang ran it with the kind of precision that left nothing exposed. In most ways, Tae-sang had spent his life refusing to become his father. In business, unfortunately, he had become him completely. The arrangement with Reena had been a practical decision made under practical pressure. His grandmother had been asking questions. His aunt, who asked questions the way other people made statements, had been asking louder ones. He had needed a temporary solution, someone presentable, someone briefed, someone who could appear at the right moments and disappear when the moments were over. Someone had found Reena. She had been given the terms, given a deposit, given a key for when her presence was required at the apartment. It was supposed to be clean and contained. It was becoming neither. 3 days before that morning in the hallway, Sonia had been home. A rare day entirely off, no gallery, no calls, no bolo with opinions and unsolicited lunch. Just her apartment and the specific pleasure of nowhere to be. She was in the kitchen making tea when she glanced out the window that faced the building's internal courtyard. Someone was inside the apartment across from hers. Not through the front entrance, through the window. Moving with the particular deliberateness of someone who had been here before and knew exactly what they were doing and needed nobody to see them doing it. She tried the building security line. It rang and went to a recorded message. She watched. The figure moved with practiced efficiency, found what they were looking for, handled it, was gone in under 4 minutes. The kind of speed that came from preparation. She made a decision. She would go to the neighbor in the morning and tell him what she had seen. She didn't know him, just knew a man came there sometimes, stayed a while, occasionally a woman. She would tell him regardless. That evening an artist she had been working with for 3 months called in a quiet panic about a piece going up the next day, something about the framing, the lighting, the placement, all of it wrong in his mind at 9 in the evening. She went to the gallery. Sorted it. Came home past midnight. Decided morning was soon enough. Morning had brought her to that hallway. After Tae-sang said, "What cleaner?" The hallway went quiet in the way hallways go quiet when something has been understood by everyone present and nobody is sure what to do with it. Sonia looked at him. "I came to tell you something. But this isn't the right time." She turned to go. "Wait," he said. She paused. "Tell me." She looked at him for a moment, the kind of look that is deciding something. Then she told him. Briefly, factually. 3 nights ago. The window. The figure. The practiced speed of someone who had been there before. She told him without dramatizing it because it didn't need dramatizing. Something moved through his expression and was immediately contained. "Thank you," he said. She nodded. Went back across the hall. Closed her door. Inside his apartment he turned to Reena. He asked her what that had been. Reena said, "Just the cleaner." She had assumed he stopped her. He had heard the exchange from inside. He did not tolerate speaking to people that way. This was not her house. They were not together. She needed to remember what role she was playing and conduct herself accordingly. Reena said nothing, but something behind her composure had shifted in a way she didn't let him see. He left it there. For now. Reena said nothing else after that conversation. But silence, Sonia would later learn, did not mean surrender. That evening, the building lobby. Sonia coming in from the gallery, portfolio bag on her shoulder, the particular tiredness of a good day's work. Tae-sang heading out, dark jacket, unhurried. They stopped, looked at each other with the slight recognition of people who have shared a hallway incident and not yet decided what it means. "I didn't realize you lived here," he said. "You've seen me," she said. "You just never paid attention." That almost made him smile because she was probably right. "You come and go quickly," Sonia said. "And you don't look at people when you walk through." She said it without accusation. Just observation. He almost smiled. Fair. He asked how long she had been in the building. She said 2 years. He asked about her work. She had mentioned a gallery. She told him what she did, briefly, the way she described it to people who hadn't asked specifically. He listened with more attention than she expected from someone who looked like he had somewhere to be. Then she said, "I almost forgot." The thing I came to tell you that morning, there's more detail than I gave you. He said, tell me. She told him in full. The timing, the window, the way the person moved. He listened to all of it without interrupting. Then he asked one question, a specific one, about which window exactly, that told her he already had a theory he was testing. They said their names. He left. She went upstairs. He made 2 calls from the car. His brother, had he been at the apartment 3 nights ago? No. His sister, same question. No. He already knew the answers. There was one more key in existence. He had given it to Reena for practical purposes during the arrangement. He went back to the apartment and questioned her. She denied it smoothly, immediately, the denial of someone who had prepared for the question. He didn't push. He went to the second bedroom where he had, months ago, installed a small camera that covered the entrance, a standard precaution for a space used intermittently. He pulled the footage. Watched it. A man he didn't recognize, moving through the apartment with the confidence of someone who had been told exactly where to go and what to look for. The man found it, a specific item from the study, something Tae-sang had kept there because this apartment was supposed to be the last place anyone would think to look. He was gone in under 5 minutes. Tae-sang watched the footage twice. Then he sent a still image to 3 of his people and told them to find the face. He ran into Sonia again a week later. This time outside, she was walking back from somewhere. He was on the phone and ended the call when he saw her. He asked if she'd like to get coffee sometime. She hesitated. Then, what about your girlfriend? He looked at her. Then he laughed real, which surprised her. She's not, Tae-sang said. She waited for more. It's a long story, he said. That usually means disaster. Usually. She looked at him for another second. Fine, she said. Coffee first. Disaster explanation after. The coffee place was quiet, and nothing about it was performative. They sat across from each other and talked the way people talk when they are genuinely curious, about work, about the city, about the specific things that took up their time. She told him about the gallery more specifically, the artists she worked with, the collectors she managed, the particular satisfaction of placing a piece with someone who actually understood what they were looking at. He said, I'd like to see it sometime. She looked at him. You'd have to actually be interested in art. I have 3 pieces at my main residence, he said. 1 Basquiat print. 2 Korean contemporary artists. Minjung Kim and Lee Bull. She looked at him differently. You know Lee Bull. I know Lee Bull, he said. He got a call. His people had found the man from the footage. She took him to the gallery the following week. He moved through it the way she moved through it, slowly, without the performative appreciation that most visitors defaulted to. He stopped in front of a large abstract piece near the back, deep blues and fractured gold, the kind of work that asks something of you, and stayed there longer than anyone else had that week. She watched him from a few steps back. Then she came and stood beside him. Told him about the artist, what they had been working through, what the fractures in the gold meant, why the blue was that specific shade and not another. He listened, then said, It looks like someone trying to hold something together that has already decided to come apart. Sonia looked at him properly then. You look tired, she said quietly. He was silent for a moment. I am. He glanced at her, then said, You were right that morning. She looked at him. About what? That it wasn't the right time. A pause. I should have handled it before it reached you. His men brought the man from the footage 2 days later. The questioning was not long. The man's name was Do-hyun. He was Reena's actual boyfriend, had been for 2 years, had been given the key and a specific list of what to find and where. What he had taken was a physical document, the kind that didn't exist digitally, the kind that Tae-sang had kept in that specific location precisely because it was supposed to be unknown to anyone outside a very small circle. Tae-sang sat with this for 1 moment. Then he went to Reena. He told her what he knew. She looked at him. Then she looked away. The denial was gone. There was nothing left to deny. He had them both arrested. The story moved through the right channels quickly. People in his world talked, and the story that emerged was specific and complete. Lim Tae-sang's contracted companion had orchestrated a theft from his private residence using a key he had provided in good faith. The crime was documented. The consequence was appropriate. People outside his immediate circle heard a simplified version that his girlfriend had betrayed him. The fuller picture, for those who needed to know it, was available. He found Sonia at the gallery the following afternoon. Told her everything, the contract arrangement, the reason for it, Reena's role, what she had taken, and how it had been recovered. He told it without dressing it up or softening the parts that didn't reflect well on his judgment. She listened to all of it. Then, so she was never actually your girlfriend. No. And she called me the cleaner in an apartment she was hired to pretend to belong in. He looked at her. Yes. Sonia was quiet for a moment. Then, interesting life you live. It's getting more interesting, he said. It happened gradually after that. Coffee became walks. Walks became evenings at the gallery after closing while the city dimmed outside the windows, and neither of them noticed the time passing until security lights came on automatically. Somewhere in the middle of all that, it stopped feeling casual. One evening Bola found her at the gallery alone after hours. She had a key. She had always had a key. This was a decision Sonia had made years ago and occasionally regretted. Bola sat across from her and asked why she looked like she was thinking too hard. Sonia told her about Tae-sang. Not everything. Enough. Bola listened without interrupting, which meant she understood this was serious. Then Sonia said, I don't fully know what world he's in. I know it's not simple. I know what I feel when I'm around him. But I don't know if those two things can exist together. Bola said, has he been honest with you? Sonia said, more than I expected. Bola said, then you already have your answer. You're just afraid of it. Bola leaned back slightly. You know what the real problem is? Sonia looked at her. You trust him already. That's what's scaring you. Sonia looked at the painting on the wall across from her, the one with the fractured gold. She didn't say anything. But Bola was right and they both knew it. He asked her properly the following week. Not casually, specifically. She said yes. Bola found out and sent 14 text messages in 6 minutes. Sonia told her to calm down. Bola said that was not going to happen. Reena was released 3 months later. She found out through someone who thought she should know that Tae-sang was dating the black woman from the building. The one she had spoken to at the door that morning. She found Sonia on a Tuesday afternoon outside the gallery, had been waiting, which said everything about where she was in this. Prison had taken the polish out of her. Not the bitterness. You stole my life, she said. My man. Everything I had. Sonia looked at her. You stole what exactly? A contract? A role you were paid for. She took one step closer. You never had him. You were hired. And you threw even that away for a man who sent you to prison. Reena's eyes went wide. How dare you? She moved forward. Her hand came up. Sonia caught it. Blocked it cleanly with the reflexes of someone who had been prepared for exactly this. Then she delivered one response, controlled, deliberate, resounding, that landed with the full weight of everything Reena had brought to this pavement. Don't ever underestimate me, Sonia said. Or speak to me like I'm beneath you. Ever again. People nearby had stopped walking. Nobody intervened. Something about Sonia's composure made it very clear who was in control of the situation. Tae-sang arrived. He had been nearby, a few minutes behind, had not been present for the beginning. He saw Reena. His expression went completely still in the way that was worse than anger. Do you want to go back? He said. One sentence. Flat and final. Reena looked at him. Then at Sonia. Then she left, the full weight of every decision she had made over the last several months landing on her all at once as she walked away. The dinner happened on a Saturday. He had told her about his aunt the week before, not to frighten her, to prepare her. Aunt Choi was a woman of high standards and a sharp tongue and a famously low tolerance for anyone she deemed unsuitable. He said this matter-of-factly. Sonia said she wasn't afraid. He said he knew. He said it anyway. His grandmother was already there when they arrived, small, mid-70s, the kind of stillness that came from someone who had lived long enough to know immediately what they were looking at. She looked at Sonia when she walked through the door and something settled in her face that had nothing to do with performance. Aunt Choi arrived with the energy of a woman who had come prepared to be unimpressed. She asked questions, the pointed kind, designed to find gaps in the surface. What did she do? Where was she from? What did her family do? How had she and Tae-sang met? She asked them the way you ask questions when you are not actually interested in the answers, but in what the answers reveal about the person giving them. Sonia answered everything directly. She did not perform warmth she didn't feel. She did not shrink to make the room more comfortable. She was precisely and completely herself, the same woman she was in the gallery, in the lobby, in the hallway that morning months ago when someone had called her the cleaner and she had looked at them with full, unhurried attention. The grandmother said something to the aunt. Quietly. In Korean. We don't hear it. But Aunt Choi's expression shifted, not dramatically, just enough. She looked at Sonia again. Then Sonia glanced toward the painting near the dining room entrance. That piece is either original, she said calmly, or someone paid a frightening amount of money for a fake. Aunt Choi blinked, then laughed. Genuinely. The kind of laugh that surprised her on its way out. And the temperature of the room changed. By the end of dinner, the aunt was asking about the gallery, specifically, which artist Sonia was currently working with and whether any of them did commissioned pieces. The grandmother had held Sonia's hand twice across the table without explanation, the way people hold the hands of those they have decided to trust before the trust has been fully earned and before anyone has asked them to. Tae-sang sat at the table and watched his family with the woman he had brought and felt something settle in him in the particular way that things settle when they are exactly where they are supposed to be. After dinner, the grandmother found a moment, pulled Sonia gently to the side while the others were in the kitchen, held her hand, said, in careful and warm English, "You are good for him. He is too serious. You make him less serious." Sonia smiled. The grandmother patted her hand twice. Come back. Outside after. The city quiet around them, the evening warm, nowhere they needed to be. Sonia said, "Your aunt laughed at my joke." "I've never seen her laugh at anyone's joke," he said. "I'm very funny." He looked at her. "You're something." She looked back at him. Where does this go? He was quiet for a moment. Not the quiet of someone avoiding the question. The quiet of someone who has thought about this and wants to say it correctly. Wherever you want it to, he said. I'm not going anywhere. Sonia laughed softly. Good. Why? She looked at him. Because apparently I'm terrible at cleaning and even worse at leaving. He looked at her for one quiet second before the smile finally happened. Then she thought about it for a moment. The gallery, the building lobby, the hallway, the footage, the coffee, the painting with the fractured gold. All of it arriving here, at this pavement, at this question. Forward, she said. I want it to go forward. He took her hand. They walked. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss what comes next. Tell me in the comments, what was the moment that got you? I read every single one. Thank you for watching.